Matt Cartmill had another word for it. He said, quote, "A myth, says my dictionary, is a real or fictional story that embodies the cultural ideals of a people or expresses deep, commonly felt emotions. By this definition, myths are generally good things, and the origin stories that paleontologists tell are necessarily myths." With the inventions, new scientific tools, and numerous discoveries throughout the last century, many new contradictions to the theory are being found constantly. No evolutionist has ever been able to answer the three foundational supports for evolution. Number one, how did evolutionary life begin? No one has even come close to answering this question scientifically. Of course, no evolution can ever occur if it cannot ever begin biologically. Number two, where are the intermediate fossils? That is, the fossils that would show the intermediate stages between one kind of creature and the one it evolved into, supposedly. Remember that Stephen Jay Gould and others admitted that this was a huge problem for evolutionists. Darwin also admitted the same thing. Number three, mutations, that is the vehicle for evolution, are going in the wrong direction. For mutations to be the vehicle for evolution, they should add information, not subtract it like they always do. There are literally dozens of these kinds of problems. But these three, and the ones mentioned earlier, are the very foundation for the theory. Without all of these being answered scientifically, evolution becomes completely impossible. As far as I can tell, no one has ever come close to answering any of them scientifically. So, if evolution is not science, then what is it? Is it possible that it is simply a religion? A state religion? After all, it would take huge amounts of faith to believe something that has been proven to be anti-scientific in dozens of ways. And if it is being taught in our public schools, has it become our state religion? And this leads to the reason that the theory is pushed so hard. Despite the overwhelming evidence against the theory, to replace the need for God in our society. Remember what George Wall, the Nobel Prize winner, said? And I quote, "I choose to believe in that which I know is scientifically impossible." And then he admitted the reason. And again I quote, "I do not want to believe in God." Most people are uninformed that the most atheistic type governments, such as Marxism, socialism, communism, etc., are all based on the theory of evolution. In fact, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels were strong proponents of Darwinism. Just a few decades ago, our nation was considered to be a Christian nation. This was not because everyone was a Christian or even acted like it. It was simply because our founding fathers had a very strong belief in God. In fact, the Declaration of Independence refers to our Creator. And the Bible was used as the key law book during Darwin's day and beyond. Since the middle of the last century, there has been a push to insert the idea of evolution into the schools and to remove all references to God, although they are still in our public buildings in Washington, D.C. Evolution has been the key tool to remove God from our society as a whole. But aren't evolutionists scientists? And aren't scientists unbiased? We answered that in When Science is Not Science. We saw that scientists are as human as any other profession. They can be heavily influenced by political viewpoints. There are numerous instances where scientists have ended up discarding information, or even changing it if it did not agree with their preconceived ideas. No one is immune to being biased. Our bias is always based on our past experiences in life, including our education. If you feel like an idiot if you do not agree with your teachers, professors, or peers, that will influence your view of that subject. If you were like me, there was really no other option except to believe in the theory of evolution. After all, it was fact. A huge majority of university students and even high school students believe that this is true. When did you learn the theory of evolution? If you were like me, I began learning it in early elementary school. I remember discussing the theory with my brothers. We were a fairly science-minded family. 3 of them became engineers or were in science-related fields. This theory was reinforced throughout high school and the university. In essence, I had received the evolution education throughout my most formative years, ages 5 through 21. This is the time that almost all evolutionists are convinced that the theory is true. Now, there are literally thousands of scientists that have rejected much or all of the theory of evolution. Now, that does not mean that they have jumped on board with creationists or with those that believe in intelligent design. Some of these scientists now have no country, so to speak. But the real question is, why? Why have they rejected it? Let's look at the last question first. When do a majority of these scientists that jump ship do so? It is after they have received their university education and begin doing their own research in a specific discipline of science. Example, a microbiologist begins doing extensive study into the function of different parts of a living cell and realizes that it could not have occurred accidentally. Or a paleontologist realizes that the order that the fossils are found in the strata do not agree with the evolutionary story. Or an anthropologist discovers that the so-called ape men have all been either apes or humans, and that the so-called ape men that have been seen in books are hoaxes, junk science, or complete misrepresentations. So how did these scientists make these discoveries? By researching in sources beyond the typical misinformation that they have been fed for the last 15 or more years of their life. This does not usually take place until they realize that the old explanations are not sufficient to explain certain facts about life's origins. And that takes work to do the research to find the real scientific facts. So we come back to the question, has evolution become the state religion of America? Because it contradicts science so much, some are beginning to believe that this is now the case.